You know Shaletta makes you laugh, but did you know Shaletta Brundage can also make you think and boost your business? Media personality, activist, and comedian Shaletta Brundage founded Shaletta Makes Me Laugh to celebrate and share the best of Black culture. It's a podcasting platform. You can download 10 weekly podcasts hosted by African American subject experts at ShalettaMakesMeLaugh.com or wherever you find your favorite podcasts. ShalettaMakesMeLaugh.com is also a production house, creating broadcast quality commercial content. And Shaletta and her team of storytellers create powerful promotional campaigns to get businesses the brand awareness they're looking for. Some of Minnesota's top businesses trust Shaletta, and you can too. Get out the word about your events and products and get in front of communities of color with ShalettaMakesMeLaugh.com. She's got the power to help your business.
Hey, my lovelies. Hope everyone's doing okay. Welcome back to another episode of Get Lean and Lit with Lindy. This is a podcast where we build strong bodies, we build sharp minds, and we have zero tolerance for unhinged health advice. So today's episode is critical information for all women over 40. We are talking about heart health. And this one actually might ruffle some feathers along the way because we're going to be talking about the idea that has been sold to us that if your arteries are clean, then you're good to go as it relates to your heart health. And that's just not telling the whole story. It sounds comforting, it sounds logical, but unfortunately, it's not the whole truth, especially for women over 40. I recently read a really impactful study, brand new study, 2026, that found that women can have less plaque in their arteries than men and still have the exact same risk of having a heart attack. So basically, we've been pretty much out here eating our salmon, taking our omega-3s, and feeling like the glowing, beautiful goddesses that we are, like we have it going on, because we do, but your heart may be like, that's all cute and everything, but we need to talk. So you guys know how I do. Let's just jump into it. When I first read the study, it really changed everything for me. But I'm going to give you guys the backstory first. Here's what researchers did. They looked at 4,200 adults with chest pain and tracked their heart health over time. And what they found is very interesting. They found that women had way less plaque than men, like pretty much half as much in some cases, but their risk of a heart attack, a death, or hospitalization was basically the same as men. Say what now? Yeah. Here's the kicker. Women's risk started rising at just 20% plaque buildup, while men didn't hit that risk zone until they were 28% plaque buildup. So women are like, hey, I barely have any plaque buildup, but your heart is like, yeah, and yet here we are. So why is this true? There are quite a few reasons for this. I'm going to talk about those right now. I'm just going to break them down for you. Women have smaller coronary arteries. Women have different plaque behavior. And a big one to realize is that heart disease just doesn't show up the same way in women. So let's talk about one of my neighbors. Her name, I'm going to call her Melissa to keep her innocent, but she said I could share her story. So Melissa is 52. She's a very clean eater. She walks daily around the neighborhood and she's not overweight at all. Recently, she got a heart scan. Her doctor said, your arteries look great and there's minimal plaque. Melissa was celebrating. She was like, yes, I'm doing it. So she came back and told me everything about her appointment and how she was feeling. She was happy. Unfortunately, about 7 months later, she was in the ER with chest pains. She felt nauseous and she was very fatigued for no apparent reason. She was getting sleep, but she still felt very fatigued. So she didn't have the dramatic movie style heart attack. It wasn't one of those, but her signs were a lot more subtle. So it turned out she actually had microvascular dysfunction, which basically means that she had issues in the tiny blood vessels of her heart that didn't show up on a standard scan. So I was shook. I was shooketh. So I did some research on my own, which I always like to do, and discovered that this dysfunction is very, very common, super common in women. So even when the big arteries look fine when they do the scans, research shows that heart disease is increasingly linked to small vessel disease, so not just major blockages. So yeah, your clean scan might not tell you the full story. Let's talk about why women are different than men. So I'm going to break this down in real plain English. There's several reasons. Reason number one is because smaller arteries means bigger impact. So even a little plaque can disrupt the blood flow more in women than in men. Number two, different disease patterns exist. Women are more likely to have non-obstructive heart disease, microvascular issues, and coronary spasms. So not the big, obvious blockages that doctors are trained to look for and that men mostly have. Number three, hormones matter a lot. So after menopause, we all know that estrogen drops very low, inflammation increases, and fat distribution changes. You get fat around your middle that you never probably had before. And all this means that your heart attack risk ramps up super fast. Number four, the outdated testing models. Most heart risk thresholds were built on men. So most testing was done on men. So as women, we're basically trying to fit into a system that wasn't designed for us. So cool, right? I love that for us, she said sarcastically. Okay, so I had this hit closer to my family. I have a cousin, I'm going to call her Danielle. So my cousin Danielle lifts weights. She's in good shape. She tracks her protein and she's probably listening to this podcast right now. So hey girl, hey. Danielle got her blood work done for an annual doctor's visit. Of course, she called me, gave me the scoop. Her cholesterol was a little elevated, but it was not bad. Her body fat is in the healthy range and her fitness is solid. She's worked out most of her life. So she assumed her heart health was a non-issue. But she was constantly stressed out. She was eating protein, but she was under eating protein for the most part. She wasn't eating as much as her body needed. Especially when she was busy, it would drop dramatically. And she wasn't sleeping well consistently. Eventually, she started feeling a shortness of breath, and she would have some kind of weird fatigue episodes during her workouts. So, of course, I encouraged her to go see her doctor and to get reevaluated to make sure everything was okay. At that visit, she found out that she has early signs of cardiovascular dysfunction, which was a complete surprise to her. So here's the lesson in that. You can look fit, you can be doing things mostly right, and still have an underlying risk. Sad to say, because heart health isn't just about weight, or it's not just about your cholesterol specifically. It's about muscle mass, it's about blood sugar control, inflammation, and stress. All of these things are controllable through your lifestyle choices, but you have to be tuned into them and understand what it's all about. All right, so if low plaque isn't the gold standard, then what is? Here's what I want you to focus on. Number one, build muscle, because muscle is metabolic protection. It improves your insulin sensitivity, your glucose control, and your inflammation. So muscle is queen, I'll say. Number two, prioritize protein. I can say this till I'm blue in the face. Protein is what we need to be prioritizing in our nutrition plans. So no more salads with just like a couple of chickpeas sprinkled on top and a prayer. That's just not going to do it. You got to get your protein. You don't have to eat animal protein, but you have to eat enough protein. Number 3, fix your sleep. Chronic poor sleep leads to higher cardiovascular risk. And that's one of those things where it's, as you get older, sometimes your sleep gets disrupted. It's easier for your sleep to be disrupted. I'll say it that way. But you have to be 10 toes down on making sure that you're getting proper sleep consistently, because chronic poor sleep impacts your cardiovascular health, period. Number 4, you have to manage stress. We are all stressed out. I always say that the whole country needs therapy right now because of all the stuff that's going on politically and just in the world, prices, gasoline, all the things. Manage stress, because cortisol is not your friend long-term. Your cortisol goes through the roof when you're stressed out consistently. So you have to just manage your stress levels, because it quietly wreaks havoc on your system. You're not going to be able to always see what stress is doing to you, but trust and believe stress is not doing you any favors. Okay. Number 5, train smart. Lift weights and move daily. That's the formula. Cardio is great, but cardio alone is not enough. You have to lift weights. You have to challenge your muscles. You have to maintain muscle. You have to grow muscle where you can. Period, point blank. That's it. Train smart. Number 6, ask better questions at your doctor's appointments. Now, last week's podcast was talking to Dr. Benita Cole. We were talking about what can we do to help ourselves with our doctors, how we can get our doctors to help us along our health journey. Because sometimes we'll go to the doctor and leave and feel like we haven't gotten anything answered. It wasn't beneficial. So ask better questions at the doctor. For example, don't just ask, is my cholesterol normal? Ask questions like, what's my inflammation level? How is my metabolic health? And should I get more advanced testing in some of these areas? Because standard tests definitely miss a lot when it comes to women. Okay, here's my last story for this episode. My friend, I'm going to call her Angela, just turned 60 last fall. Had a big party. We had a big celebration. Angela thought she was low risk because her cholesterol wasn't terrible. She wasn't overweight. And she did cardio religiously, but she avoided strength training for decades. Like, she just wasn't into strength training at all. When she finally got serious about her health, she had low muscle mass, poor blood sugar control, and signs of early cardiovascular issues. She told me, I wish someone had told me sooner that strength training wasn't optional. And that just broke my heart. Well, ladies, that's why we're here. And that's the entire purpose of my podcast. The underlying purpose, I should say, is doing the basic things that we can do and we can control. Strength training being a huge part of that. So here's the bottom line, y'all. Unfortunately for us, less plaque does not necessarily equal a safe heart, especially for women. Your risk can show up earlier with fewer warning signs and in ways traditional tests don't catch all the time. But today's message is not all doom and gloom. It's really actually meant to be educational and empowering for us women. Because now you know what actually moves the needle on your health. You got to do it. Let me say it again, louder and one more time for the people in the back. You got to build your strength up, your muscles. You got to focus on metabolic health. You got to strive for a healthy lifestyle that's grounded in consistency. I'm not talking about gimmicks. I'm not talking about detox teas. And I'm not talking about, I'm just going to lose 10 pounds and I'll be fine. Because what we're trying to do here is play the long game. We want to be strong, we want to be lean, and we want to be informed. And maybe just a little bit skeptical of outdated health advice, especially what works for men versus what works for women. So I encourage all of you guys to dig into the science if you're a sciencey type person. I love science, so it's easy for me to do, but just understand what we're up against here. Okay? Sorry to be so serious, but this is a very serious topic, and I want us all to take care of ourselves, starting with the things that are going to improve our heart health. So, my lovelies, if this episode hit close to home, please share it with a friend who thinks cardio and a green smoothie is all they need. It's not. It's definitely not. So, share it with a friend. So, keep it real, keep it consistent, and until we meet again, take care of yourselves. Bye.
Boom! I just earned a $600 bonus with an Old National Bank checking account.
You got this.
I do?
Earn up to a $600 bonus when you open an eligible checking account and complete qualifying activities. Old National Bank. Just another reason to get old.
Can you say bonus?
When she walked in on her first day at Doherty Family College at the University of St. Thomas, she didn't know a soul.
I'm Zion, and I'm a second year at DFC.
A year later, and so many changes for Zion.
I love my friends here. I couldn't do anything without them. We support each other all the time.
At Doherty Family College, Zion also finds support on the academic side. Like all DFC students, Zion can count on a team committed to her success. Doherty Family College is Minnesota's affordable private college option. DFC students earn their associate's degree and then can transition to a 4-year college or university for their bachelor's. Many are students of color or first in their family to go to college.
It's nice to see people that look like you pursuing an education, wanting to succeed academically.
Zion encourages any high school student looking for a college home to do what she did and apply to Doherty Family College.
All the support you could need is here.
Ready to make your move and experience Doherty Family College for yourself? Then schedule your visit to the Minneapolis campus at dfc.stthomas.edu/visit.
It's Shaletta Brundage, Minnesota's autism mom. I need you to help me help stop Medicaid fraud. If your child needs autism services, choose a provider carefully. Legitimate providers won't pressure you to sign up, offer you gift cards, or contact you unexpectedly for personal information. Instead, a good provider will develop an individualized plan for your child and communicate with you regularly. If your child receives autism services, make sure the services are actually provided. Watch your mail for those explanation of benefits letters, right? They show you the services billed under your child's name. Look that thing over. Did your child get all of the services on the dates listed? Now listen, if you have concerns, trust your instincts and report suspected fraud to the Minnesota Department of Human Services at mn.gov/DHS/report-fraud. Or you can always give them a call at 1-800-657-3750.